We are approaching the end of our journey. And what journey am I talking about? Of course, that would be the one that took us right on into that legal battlefield. 4 years ago, it started on December 22nd, 2020, when the SEC chose to sue Ripple. Ripple had to spend $200 million to get us to this point, and there's been hundreds of billions of dollars worth of damages done to the XRP community. We were in the trenches for the last 4 years, fighting this thing out, ducking and diving around here in the trenches as the bullets have been flying past us. We've made it to the other side victorious, while the rest of the space is heading directly into that storm. I want to talk about why this gives XRP a competitive advantage and why I think that we're going to see so much XRP price appreciation this bull run because of that. So without further ado, folks, I want to get started. This is a Monday morning update. I've only had about half a cup, and wifey we only have pumpkin spice creamer right now. So I know it's kind of silly to complain about, but it does kind of hurt me a little bit inside to admit I'm drinking a pumpkin spice coffee. But that point aside, I got my coffee in me. We're going to get right on into this update. The markets have opened up as I record this one just before 7 a.m. here on the West Coast, and we're already seeing some action that I was warning about because nobody was paying attention to that tanker getting blown up on Friday. We had the response from, not the Taliban, Hezbollah in Lebanon this weekend as well. And now we come out here, and what do we see first thing this morning? Libya stopping all oil production and export. This one's from Michael Gayed, and a huge shout out to Michael. I'm actually looking forward to having him on the show next week. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss that interview. But he says oil spiking accelerates the reverse carry trade. I thought JP Morgan said it was 75% done. It breaks Japan. It was never about the yen. It was always about oil priced in yen. It isn't over. The main event is coming. Like and repost if you understand this. Well, just like we're at the end of our battle in the SEC versus Ripple case, everybody else is just getting started. Well, very similar. This Japan carry trade unwind, it's just getting started. Folks don't understand this. Oil spiking as expected here Monday as the markets open back up, and a big push right here for oil all the way up to 77.5. Now, gold pushed up again. We closed Friday above 2,500. The streak was broke on Thursday, closing below 2,500. But here we are back again, back above 2,500. And gold even thinking about going to set a new all-time high. For silver, we just wicked above $30 per ounce this morning, back at 29.8. We'll be watching it closely. Stocks are all up to start the week. Look at the Dow Jones. Is that a new all-time high? We are basically at a new all-time high. As I predicted over a week ago, I've been talking about this move here as the markets anticipating the Fed rate cut, having themselves one last party, one last gasp of air. NASDAQ back down. It started the morning green, but it's coming back down here. But the S&P 500 is back up, and it's really, really close here to that all-time high. We'll be watching it. Bitcoin and cryptos are back down this morning, 63,000 for Bitcoin. This was after yesterday. We did get that spike up to 65,000 very briefly. For XRP, we traded up to 63 cents on Saturday. That was nice to see, but short-lived as we've come back below 60 cents, right at 59 right now. We'll be watching it closely. Let's continue. Hedge funds on track to sell equities this month at the fastest pace since March of 2022, according to Goldman Sachs. They are exiting. The insiders are exiting. And they've been rolling them over. What they're doing right now is they're locking in yield. This is why we've seen the bond yields come down, is because bonds are being bought. More people are buying the bonds, yields come down. And they're locking in the yields. That's what they're trying to do. Rolling out of equities, taking their profits. They've been doing this over the past year. It's mostly gone unreported. We've only been tracking it because we have, folks that are watching it. They have their script set to record, and obviously it's all public filings for public holding companies. And when we get to watch these companies and the CEOs make their moves, Jeff Bezos, Huang from NVIDIA, we've been watching all of these guys absolutely dump stock. And the hedge funds are doing the same thing, while the retail traders, when you look at the chart of retail participation in the stocks and the equities, it just spiked up over the last week on the news that the Fed was going to cut. And this is what I'm saying. Folks are falling for the same trap that we've had laid here many times before as we enter a rate cutting cycle, is we think that we're going to start just going up and up forever. What we saw in 2007 and in 2001, was a rally into the rate cut, lasted a little bit after, then the bottom fell out. What happens for gold, though, during rate cut environments? Because this is important. You guys know I'm bullish on precious metals. I have silver. I love gold. What happens, though, during a rate cut environment to these metals? Well, they do come down, but something to take note of. And this is from Bald Guy Money on X. I like that name. When gold crashed in 2008, it didn't go lower than the price it was at before the first interest rate cuts in July of 2007. Well, he got that wrong. The first rate cuts were actually September of 2007, actually. Just a quick fact check there. Consider that when you wonder just how safe gold is, though, because the important thing here to take away is that gold never went below the price, the price that it was at before the rate cuts began. Okay? That's interesting to observe and witness there. You know, it went basically back down to the same price. So if gold's at 2,500 now, rate cuts don't start till next month in September. How much further can gold rally? And is that going to be the next, level of support that we watch gold kind of maintain? We saw gold came down 28% over 8 months. If we get this type of buying opportunity that I think is coming, correction before the election or after the election, but before the inauguration, right? We have a very interesting window, kind of no man's land, where anything can happen, black swan events included, between now and the election. And then there's another window between the election and the inauguration that we'll be watching closely as well. 28% drop in the 2008. Is that coming for gold? Well, if it is, we're going to be taking advantage of it. And you guys already know the deal. I have all of our community resources are available at zachrector.com. Precious metals, crypto exchanges, wallets. And if you want to get tapped in with our community, just let me know. Now, everybody panicking over here watching the Ethereum Foundation. It's funny, just like I titled this video and like we're about to talk about here shortly, we're at the end of our legal battle, right? It's wrapping up. What else is also wrapping up is all the FUD that's been ran against XRP community and against Ripple. As far as Ripple dumping on us and all this and that. Well, it actually turns out that that's not true. Ripple only sells XRP in accordance with on-demand liquidity, building a use case and building liquidity for XRP. Yeah, you gotta buy and sell to make a market. It's called making liquidity. Folks don't get that. And so, yes, they've been selling. They've also been buying back almost as much as they've been buying. Now, in the case of Ethereum, well, we have no idea what they're going to do because they have no escrow. At any given moment, they could just decide on a whim, hey, today's a good day to dump 100 million Ethereum. Well, look at what they're doing right here. The Ethereum Foundation just moved 35,000 ETH, $94 million worth to Kraken. Sparking concerns about a potential sell-off, this massive transfer comes during a minor market rally, raising questions about its impact on ETH's price and overall market stability. While the foundation claims this is part of a routine treasury operations, yeah, sure. Routine treasury operations is what Ripple's doing with their escrow, where it's predictable. We're selling off 200 to 300 million XRP every single month in accordance with on-demand liquidity, building a use case. Predictability. $1 billion gets released every month. Predictability. Clarity. Transparency. Industry leading. The lack of prior notice has investors on edge. Could this signal more ETH hitting the market soon? Stay tuned as this unfolds. Oh, you want to talk about predictability? There's also no cap on Ethereum. There's no hard cap. There's no hard limit. And this comes after this last week, the Ethereum Foundation reported what they've been doing with all their money. They sold $100 million worth of ETH. And I don't know what the period was over the last year, over the last 6 months, but they sold over $100 million worth of Ethereum to fund salaries and to fund the foundation. So they're literally doing what everybody hates on Ripple for doing. Where's the coverage? Of course, it's nowhere to be seen. Mainstream crypto bros, nowhere to be seen. Except I'm seeing some mainstream crypto bros who were all ETH gang. Now they're asking, I literally saw, I'm not going to name the names, little prominent influencer guys, asking Twitter, publicly asking, should I sell my ETH and move it to Solana? Let me take a sip of my pumpkin spice coffee on that one. Are you kidding me? If you have to publicly ask Twitter whether you should sell your Ethereum and move it to Solana, what are we doing? Unbelievable. Let's continue. what's happening with the corporations and how they are holding assets. Let's take a look here at Rath Economy sharing an Ernst & Young report on corporate crypto investment in May. About 80% of respondents were US and EMEA. Among current holders, XRP holdings ticked up to just above 20%. It's starting to pick up. We see last year here, we were down below. This is XRP. What type of cryptocurrencies is your firm allocated to currently? Choose all that your firm owns. So wait. Why are we just behind Solana? I thought there was no interest in XRP. We're ahead of Binance. We're ahead of Cardano, Tron, Avalanche. That really, not saying much. But we're closely behind Solana. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And now we've actually seen the share of both Bitcoin and Ethereum come down. In 2023, they held more than they do this year. Interesting how that's working. So it's come down, and then they've gone into Solana. Oh, gee, I wonder why Solana's been pumped up. VC pumping up from the very beginning, as we've called it out. For XRP, we've actually gone up. The trend is your friend if you're in the XRP community, because more and more corporations and institutions are picking XRP. Now, which stablecoins do they want to use? Well, they definitely don't want to use Tether. Went from 42% in 2023 to 35% in this year. Circle barely grew a little bit from 62 to 68, a little bit of growth there. But now PayPal has emerged as a top 3 entrant since last year. Well, what happens when Ripple introduces their US dollar stablecoin, folks? Drop a little prediction in the comments down below for me. Which stablecoin do you think that they're going to choose to use? This is why I'm saying Ripple's USD is going to take Tether's lunch. I mean, it's at least going to garner as much market share and market cap and volume as Tether, bare minimum. And what will that do for Ripple as a company? Well, it's $5 to $6 billion worth of profit for Tether right now. $6 billion of profit last year, $5 billion of profit in the first half of 2024. They're on pace to make $10 billion profit this year. That'd be nice to add to Ripple's business. That'd be a nice little flow of cash, nice little stream of cash flow, wouldn't it be? But as you're seeing right here, why is this happening? It's because we're at the end of our journey. We're at the end of this journey that started 4 years ago, cost us $200 million for Ripple, cost the XRP community hundreds of billions of dollars worth of damages. Will we ever be able to recoup it? I think the only way that this gets recouped is when we get set free here. XRP is about to move. And here is the quote from Brad Garlinghouse. This was in June at Apex, the developer conference for XRP. And I want you guys to listen to what Brad Garlinghouse predicted back then and what this means as far as us being at the end of our journey while everybody else has the dark clouds of uncertainty and no clarity coming over top of them.
Look, I think as you reflect on the last handful of years, we'll call it 4 or 5 years, there are things that...
Also, would it be appropriate for Brad Garlinghouse to wear an XRP shirt with a moon on it if XRP wasn't going to be relatively, metaphorically speaking, going to the moon? Would that be appropriate for him to wear that as the CEO of the company if we weren't going to the moon?
Are super frustrating. Why did the SEC go after XRP kind of first, if you will? In some ways you look at that now and you say, we're almost at the very, very end of that journey. I think that, hopefully we have resolution. We can't control that now. The judge, will make the decision when she makes the decision. My estimation is sometime before the end of the summer. Somebody asked me, is that the end of August? I pointed out that September 21st is the end of summer. So I don't know, sometime there.
I think my birthday, August 28th, that's the end of summer.
You know what? I'll ask her if we can celebrate your birthday with that. That would be, We'll all celebrate with you.
We'll call the judge.
But look.
And do you hear David Schwartz giggling over there? See, I'm no body language expert, but it's pretty clear to me, these guys have looked way too comfortable this whole battle. Yeah, we think about, oh my gosh, having to spend $200 million battling, and how much further damage was done to Ripple's business by the lack of uncertainty and lack of clarity that we had around Ripple and XRP, right? How many billions of dollars worth of deals have they lost out on, right? But the body language, the posture, the statements that have been made by Brad and Dave. I mean, David's up here giggling about the dates. I mean, I'm sure the Riddlers did a decode on it, but David's over here giggling about it being at the end of the journey. These guys were way too comfortable, this whole lawsuit, for me to give up and lose conviction, faith, and dump my XRP bags. I just don't get it. Why people couldn't recognize that. And what this means for the competitive advantage. Just like I showed you guys, the corporations reporting their holdings of cryptocurrency, XRP's ticking up, Bitcoin and Ethereum both ticking down. In the stablecoin space, USDC taking Tether's lunch when it comes to legitimate institutions and corporations. Who showed up on the scene? PayPal. And they emerged right to the number 3 spot. What do you think happens with Ripple's stablecoin? What do you think happens as far as the holdings of corporations and institutions of XRP with complete clarity? And that's exactly where we're at, folks, is we're at the end of this journey where nobody has to worry anymore about XRP. Just imagine that. That's never been a concern for XLM. That's never been a concern for Bitcoin. And look at what's happened. The market cap of Bitcoin's grown to over $1 trillion. And the market cap bros can see what that would, do to XRP's price if we just reached $1 trillion market cap. And there's a lot of people that think that that's not possible. I think it definitely is. I also think that Ripple's going to take Tether's lunch and then some. We're at the end of our journey, breaking out with a competitive advantage from a legal standpoint, but also when you look at just what the XRP ledger is getting added as far as utility. See, the place to build now going forward is going to be the XRP ledger, because you're going to know that you have clarity and you can tap in and use that XRP ledger functionality without being worried that you're in an investment contract, because of some smart contract like Uniswap, the AMM for Ethereum. They're getting sued. We're not getting sued. There's no AMM third party to sue. There's no smart contract for our AMM. It's just built into the code, layer 1 protocol. Another advantage, we have a legal advantage. We have a technical advantage. We have an advantage that we have a company in Ripple that's actually bringing real adoption to our ecosystem, and they're providing industry leading transparency. These are all competitive advantages as to why I think we're going to see tremendous inflows into XRP over the next year. And I think that you're already starting to see it happen. That's why XRP has such a strong floor price. Although I still worry about a correction here, we've built such a strong base of support going back that I'm really not too worried about XRP going much lower than that. And the level on your chart would be about 42, 45 cents. As we conclude this, the perfect timing is coming for the XRP Unleashed documentary, which Fruition Productions given us the update here, saying we are excited to announce that we are targeting the release of XRP Unleashed for this November. So they're waiting. I talked with Chris. He said they're waiting to see if the appeals window closes. But now that he's put out this announcement, it looks like they're going to go forward with the release of the documentary, because I know they want to get it out this year, and the appeals process would take us well into next year. And so I'm excited to report that they are going to be releasing it this November. Hopefully, we all pray that we don't get that appeal coming in October, and then we're going to be off to the races. And then we're going to be taking XRP and the story about us overcoming the SEC, overcoming the corruption, exposing ETHgate. It's going viral. Now, we're going to have to do it on our own accord because, as Chris says right here, we've taken matters into our own hands and are pursuing self-distribution. This means the documentary will be available on on a few platforms like Apple TV and Amazon without their support. Hollywood in general is in freefall, so there is less appetite more than ever on new content that isn't from established providers. And they don't want the ETHgate story getting out. And they don't want the SEC getting embarrassed. Gary Gensler's calling up the studios right now saying, you guys bury this documentary. This means just like we've done the whole time, and Bill Hinman too is probably actually more worried than Gary Gensler. This means just like we've done the whole time, we have to remain self-financed and produce the project without their assistance. Now, God bless Chris and his team. They're doing this self-funded. They've spent so much money. They've put a lot of time and resources towards this documentary, and only to get shut down by Hollywood and the big studios, which is fine because we're going to take this story viral regardless. And we got it on Amazon. It's going to be on Apple TV, the other streaming platforms. And This is the moment that I've been talking about where all of this comes together. We still have the ETF catalyst, we have the IPO catalyst, we have broader stablecoin legislation, we have broader cryptocurrency legislation. All of these are catalysts that build on XRP's momentum, on top of just the simple fact that we have that legal advantage. We're at the end of our journey, stepping out into the light for everybody to look down and see what this little XRP asset is. It's going to be a beautiful moment for our community. I'm excited to be on this journey with you guys, at the end of the journey with you guys. And if you guys are still here with me, make sure you guys like this video. Make sure you guys have subscribed, hit that notification bell. Everything is at zachrector.com, and I will see you guys in the next one. God bless. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.